how to qualify your recommendations. Now, this is also a part, if you watch, you need to watch the video, how to get 30 recommendations every appointment, before you watch this video, and this will be a little bit of a recap, but really quickly. So the customer, you have to be good at getting at least 10. If you're not getting 10, then again, go watch the 30, how to get 30 recommendations. But once the customer gets to 10 or 20 or 30, getting 30 or 40 recommendations, you need to qualify these recommendations, okay? You don't want to waste time. New representatives are calling all kinds of people. They're seeing all these single people. You want to get to the point where you're just seeing your best customers, okay? A perfect example is, is Mike Arrieta. Mike out in, wasn't from the area, sleeping on someone's couch, okay? Came here, grew up all his life in Florida, went to school in Alabama, decided he wanted to come to New York, came to New York and literally started with one person, started with a pizza owner or a service call or something, literally started with one person, and now has the best recommendations everywhere. He's done a demo for Steve Madden, the shoe company, the guy who owns a shoe company, designed Steve Madden shoes. He's done a demo for Marv Albert, okay, and Kenny Albert, okay, the announcers for the Knicks. So talking about people, he had no connections here whatsoever, and now he's seeing, multi-millionaire people. So anybody can do that if you do the right things and if you get people on your side. So we're not going to get you to that level, although you might want to, and you can always spend time qualifying your recommendations. Spend time qualifying your recommendations. You don't just want to see anyone. It's a waste of time. Don't see single people. Don't see guys by themselves. Like, they don't buy Cutco. We're selling high-quality cutlery. It's just like you wouldn't show Rolexes to a middle schooler. You wouldn't show, you don't see feminine hygiene products on during commercials or the Super Bowl. You want to target your audience, okay? You want to go towards the target audience all of the time. The target audience is married, between 35 to 65 years old with 2 or 3 kids. That's the target audience. I don't care if you're in the city or in the burbs or anywhere. All right, that's the type of people you want to see the most. So we got to hunt them down, and you want to find just those people. So the customer gives you all the recommendations. And what you do is, now you've already given it back to them 2 or 3 times. All right, Ms. Jones, do you know anyone who works during the day? Do you know anyone who's home during the night? Like, you have to give them thought joggers. I'm not going to go through how to get more recommendations, but just a tip there, give them some thought joggers. Ask for the people that you know. Mr. Jones, by the way, who's the most famous person you know? Okay? That's somebody, is there anybody that you know who's the most famous person? Who's the most influential doctor? Who's the most, do you know anyone who's been on TV or movies or anything like that? Ask them. Why not? Okay, you want to get the head of a corporation? By the way, Ms. Jones, we do a lot of business gifts. Do you know anyone who owns their own company or owns their own business? That's a great question to ask, because a lot of people will buy a lot of businesses will buy our products for their employees, or anyone in real estate, Mrs. Jones. I need people like that, because a lot of people like that will buy products for their clients. Do you know anyone who like that? Lots of people have their own businesses, guys, okay? Even people who, a hairdresser will buy stuff sometimes and get gifts, okay? People buy gifts for their teachers. Principals will buy gifts for their teachers and stuff. So, be open your mind to, we sell a great product that can be customized and can be made to fit the budgets, all right? So ask these questions to your customers, and you should be writing these down right now. Like, here's the things I'm going to ask every single time. You can't just do it here or there, hit or miss. The top reps, it's the same stuff all the time. The same phone objections, they handle the same way. They use the objection cycle the same way. They do the close the same way. They do the recommendation approach the same way, over and over and over again. Never changes, nothing changes. It's a program. You follow it, and you put work in. That's how it goes. So here's how you qualify your recommendations, all right? So they've given you this, and they go, all right, Mr. Jones, first off, thank you so much for these 10 recommendations. I really appreciate it. Thank you for getting me to the point. I know you had to work there. I know you went through your phone. I really appreciate that. Now, here's the thing. Just so I can sound professional and courteous on the phone when I speak to these people, would you mind if I asked you a couple of quick questions about these people, for when I call them? Never had a customer say no. Okay, so they say fine. So if you want to write that down, Ms. Jones, just so I sound professional and courteous on the phone when I speak to these people, do you mind if I ask you a couple of quick questions? No problem. Now, first thing is, people have bad handwriting. All right, so like, you have to go, okay, so this person, their name is Deidre. Okay, no, it's Deidre. All right, so then I would write Deedra. D-R-A. So, by the way, when I set up my book, if you watch the first video, I don't number it every single one. I leave a space so I can write this information underneath each person. So it says 1, skip a space. 2, skip a space. This is why you skip a space. You can put the information in that space. So right underneath Deidre, who's spelled D-E-I-D-R-E, which is really bad handwriting, I write Deidre, D-E-E-D-R-A, Deidre. Okay, so I know how to say the person's name. By the way, that's part of rapport. The minute you call someone, especially if they have a tough name to say, the minute you say it right, they immediately think they know you. They built rapport immediately. Okay, so Deidre. Okay, so I would go through and I would just look if there's any names that look kind of hard or if you can't read the person's handwriting, say the person's name. This person here, their name is Namika, okay? Yeah, it's not Naimka. Sorry, I write Naimka, N-A-E-E-M-K-A, Naimka, okay? Even though it's not spelled like that at all. So that's the first thing. Now, if you see the name Matt, okay, you don't have to do that. So that's the first thing I do. So let me just make sure I say their names right. Okay, now I want my married people, right? So I go, now, Mr. Jones, I see you wrote down a lot of first names. Do any of these people, just in case they get their spouse on the phone, could I get their spouse's name too? So Deidre, what's her spouse's name? Oh, her spouse's name is John. Okay, and David here, what's his wife's name? Mary. All right, and Susie here, she's single. Okay, and what about Jesse? And so I just write single, so now, guys, I've now eliminated the single people. I know who the single people are, all right? I know who the married couples are. Plus, if I'm a guy calling, and I always ask for the wife, by the way. Always ask the wife. Never ask if they write David down, and you ask what's his wife's name. If they don't have a wife, you're not calling David. Okay, so guys don't buy Cutco. Women buy Cutco. Okay, or couples buy Cutco. All right. You don't see a lot of. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But you don't see a lot of married guys walking around Williams-Sonoma, Crate and Barrel, buying napkins and drapes. Okay, that's not what they buy. Okay, they don't buy. You go see a bunch of married guys walking around Best Buy. Okay, buying stuff like that, or buying tools and Sears. Sears Hardware. You don't see a lot of moms walking around. Okay, by themselves. So you want to see the top people. So anyway, so that's the first thing you do. Now I know who all my married people are. Okay. Now the next thing I want to know is I want to know if they have any kids. Okay. So say, Mrs. Jones, by the way. Now also with these people, I like to be careful with the knives around like little kids. So just so I could be prepared. Any of these people have kids that live at home? Oh, and they just go, oh, they have kids, no kids, no kids, no kids. Okay, great. And you just put K or NK. Okay, kids or no kids. Real easy. That's simple. Also, Mr. Jones, since I don't want to do demos all over Brooklyn here, what area of Brooklyn do they live in? Do they live in Bensonhurst, Bay Ridge? Do you know that? Great. Okay. Oh, these people, Bay Ridge. Bensonhurst, Bay Ridge. Flatbush. These people live in Guam. Okay, Guam. I'm not calling those people. Okay. Sometimes reps call people and they don't even know where they live, and they call up or set up an appointment, and they live, in Montauk Point. Okay. So not a good thing. Train doesn't go that far. All right, so great. So now we have the area. We have how to say their name. We have if they're married or not. We have their kids. We know where they are. And then the last thing I always ask, and now actually there's two last things. I go, now, Mr. Jones, also, how do you know these people? Okay, so I know the connection there. Oh, Deidre, that's my sister. David, Susie, Jesse, Jonathan, they all work with me. Okay, so just put work. These two people I know from church. Okay? So now when you call people, you don't have to go, yeah, I was over your friend's house, Deidre. And they go, Deidre, my sister? Oh, yeah, your sister. Okay, now you look like a dope, okay? I sometimes you call people, it's like, yeah, is Mary there? Yes, this is Mary. Hi, I was over to see your friend Jesse. They're like, my friend Jesse? Jesse who? Now, guys, also know the person's name who's giving you the recommendation, their first and last name. Sometimes they know people by their last name. Sometimes they know by the first name. Or if you know Jesse Amstebe from your job. He works with you. He said he worked for you the last 10 years. Oh, Jesse, I got you. Okay, like that sometimes has to happen in the phone conversation. So you want to know where the people, how they know them, to give them a chance to figure out how they know the person who's referring them. Right? And then the last thing I ask is I go, now, Mrs. Jones, I'm probably not going to call these 10 people, just so you know. But if you were me, which of these people would you see first? and then watch what they say. They say all kinds of stuff. They're like, oh, these people are loaded. They'll buy everything. Oh, these people cook all the time. You got to see them. You know, those are the top people you want to see. You want to definitely see those two people. Okay? And you put little stars next to those two people, and you make sure you call them first. Or you actually make sure that the customers call those two people right there on the spot,